Throughout history, there have been daring heists and mysterious thefts that leave investigators scratching their heads. From stolen masterpieces to missing treasures, these crimes remain unsolved or shrouded in intrigue. How did the thieves pull them off? Where did the stolen items go? And most importantly, will they ever be found? Join us as we dive into the top 5 most mysterious thefts in the world. Cases so bizarre they seem straight out of a movie. The Gardner Museum heist. It was St. Patrick's Day night in Boston. The city was alive with celebrations, and the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, a magnificent institution housing some of the world's most treasured masterpieces, sat silent in the darkness. But at 1:24 a.m., 2 men in police uniforms arrived at the museum's side entrance. They rang the buzzer. Boston police, they claimed. The unsuspecting security guard buzzed them in. What happened next was swift and terrifying. The officers ordered the guards away from their posts, claiming they had a warrant for their arrest. One guard was tricked into stepping away from the security desk, where the only panic button was located. Within moments, both guards were handcuffed, duct-taped, and left defenseless in the basement. It was a meticulously planned operation. For 81 minutes, the thieves moved with precision. They went straight for the artwork, almost as if they knew exactly what they were looking for. Rembrandt's Christ in the Storm on the Sea of Galilee, gone. Vermeer's The Concert, vanished. Manet's Chez Tortoni, stolen. They hacked paintings from their frames, shattering centuries of artistry in a single night. Even a finial from a Napoleonic flag was taken. It was methodical, it was ruthless, and then, just like that, they disappeared into the night. At 8:15 a.m., the next shift of museum staff arrived to find a horrifying scene. Frames discarded like empty shells, alarms disabled, and no sign of the thieves. The museum was in shock. The heist had netted them 13 pieces, worth an estimated $500 million, making it the single largest property theft in history. But here's where things get even more unsettling. There was no ransom note, no demands. It was as if the art had vanished into the void. The FBI took over the case, piecing together the bizarre clues. The thieves never triggered the motion sensors in certain galleries. They left behind valuable pieces like Michelangelo's drawing and Titian's artwork, raising the question, why take some pieces and leave others? And then, the biggest mystery of all, who were they? For decades, investigators have chased countless leads, but none have led to the missing masterpieces. Some believe it was the work of organized crime, stolen to be used as bargaining chips. Others think the art was taken by a private collector, hidden away in an undisclosed location. Rumors even swirl of connections to the Italian mafia, or that the paintings are locked in an unknown basement, waiting for their moment to resurface. The museum still displays the empty frames where the stolen paintings once hung, a chilling reminder of what was lost. Every so often, whispers emerge, alleged sightings, cryptic messages, a lead that goes nowhere. The question remains, where is the stolen art? Is it hidden in plain sight, or has it been lost forever? Over 30 years later, the Gardner Museum heist remains one of the greatest unsolved crimes in history. The FBI still offers a $10 million reward for information leading to the art's recovery. Could the answer be out there, just waiting to be uncovered? What do you think happened to the stolen paintings? Let us know in the comments below. The theft of the Crown Jewels of Ireland, 1907. The Crown Jewels of Ireland weren't technically a crown, but rather a collection of exquisite insignia associated with the Order of St. Patrick, a British chivalric order. The jewels included a star and badge encrusted with 394 diamonds, Brazilian rubies, and a massive emerald centerpiece. Valued at over £1 million in today's money, These treasures were a symbol of the British monarchy's influence in Ireland. The jewels were kept under lock and key in the Bedford Tower of Dublin Castle, the headquarters of British rule in Ireland. It was supposed to be an impenetrable fortress. Yet someone managed to walk in and steal the jewels without a trace. On July 6, 1907, just days before an official visit from King Edward VII, the theft was discovered. The strongroom's door was open, the safe was unlocked, and the jewels were gone. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken locks. It was as if the thief or thieves had simply strolled in and taken them. Here's where things get even stranger. The only person with official access to the keys was Sir Arthur Vickers, the Ulster King of Arms, the man responsible for safeguarding the jewels. Yet, Vickers had developed a troubling reputation. He was known to be careless with security, frequently drinking and reportedly leaving the keys lying around. Some accounts even suggest he allowed unauthorized individuals to access the strongroom. Rumors swirled. There were whispers of wild parties in the castle, drunken revelries where security was the last thing on anyone's mind. Could the thief have been an insider? Or was the crime politically motivated? The prime suspect was Francis Shackleton, brother of the famous explorer Ernest Shackleton. A socialite with financial troubles, Shackleton had close ties to Vickers and allegedly had access to the strongroom. He denied any involvement, yet many believed he knew more than he let on. Despite an official investigation, the British authorities seemed reluctant to dig too deep. King Edward VII was furious, but rather than solve the crime, the focus was on burying the scandal. Sir Arthur Vickers was publicly disgraced and dismissed, yet no one was ever arrested for the theft. If the crime wasn't about money, then what was the motive? Some theories suggest it was an act of Irish nationalism, a strike against British rule in Ireland. Others believe the theft was an inside job covered up to protect powerful figures. Perhaps the most bizarre theory claims that the jewels never left Dublin Castle. Some speculate they were hidden within the walls or secretly recovered but kept from the public to avoid embarrassment. Over a century later, the Irish crown jewels have never resurfaced. No thief has ever been caught. And the truth of what happened on that fateful night in 1907 remains one of history's greatest enigmas. So what do you think? Were the jewels stolen as part of a high society conspiracy? A political statement? Or were they simply taken by an opportunistic thief? Let us know your theories in the comments below. The Great Train Robbery, 1963. August 8, 1963. A Royal Mail train, carrying over £2.6 million in cash, makes its way through the quiet English countryside. The train crew has no idea that they are about to be part of one of the most daring and infamous heists in British history, the Great Train Robbery. This was no ordinary robbery. The gang behind it didn't just storm in with guns blazing. No, this was planned with military precision. The target? A Royal Mail train traveling from Glasgow to London, loaded with cash that had been collected from banks and post offices. It was essentially a moving vault. At exactly 3 a.m., near Berdago Bridge in Ledburn, Buckinghamshire, the train slowed to an unexpected halt. But it wasn't a coincidence. The robbers had manipulated the railway signal, turning it from green to red. A gang of at least 15 men, wearing masks and gloves, swarmed the train. They quickly overpowered the driver, Jack Mills, striking him on the head with an iron bar. Mills would survive, but he was never the same after that night. The robbers detached the train's carriages, isolating the one carrying the money. Then, they systematically removed 120 sacks filled with banknotes, loading them into waiting vehicles. All of this took place in under 30 minutes. And just like that, they were gone. The crime stunned the nation. This wasn't just a simple robbery. It was an operation so meticulously planned that even Scotland Yard was left in disbelief. The police launched a nationwide manhunt, eventually discovering the gang's hideout, Leatherslade Farm, where they had hidden to divide their loot. But by the time authorities arrived, the criminals had vanished, leaving behind fingerprints, newspapers, and food supplies. Over the following months, arrests were made, but many believed that not all the gang members were caught. Some simply disappeared, their identities never revealed. Bruce Reynolds, the mastermind, fled to Mexico and lived under the radar for 5 years before being captured. Other members, including the notorious Ronnie Biggs, managed to escape prison, living abroad for decades before some eventually returned to Britain. But here's where things get even stranger. One of the most unsettling aspects of the Great Train Robbery is that most of the stolen money was never recovered. Out of the £2.6 million, only a fraction was ever accounted for. Where did the rest go? And then there's the issue of the mysterious insider. The robbers seem to have intricate knowledge of the train's route, the schedules, and even how to bypass security measures. Was there someone on the inside helping them? Some suspect a Royal Mail employee, others point to corrupt police officers. Even more disturbing is the fate of those involved. Several members of the gang died under mysterious circumstances, some in accidents, others in violent crimes. Was someone tying up loose ends? One theory suggests that the robbery was part of a much larger scheme. Some believe that the British intelligence agencies had knowledge of the heist but allowed it to happen, perhaps as part of an undercover operation gone wrong. Others believe that high-ranking officials were involved, using the robbery as a means to launder money through underground networks. And then there are whispers of something even darker: a curse. Many of the criminals involved in the heist suffered from misfortune later in life. Ronnie Biggs spent decades on the run before returning to the UK in poor health. Bruce Reynolds lived much of his life in exile. Coincidence? Or was there something unnatural at play? The Great Train Robbery remains one of the most legendary crimes in history. It was a heist that seemed too perfect, too well orchestrated to be the work of ordinary criminals. Did they have inside help? Was there a deeper conspiracy? And most importantly, where did all the money go? One thing is certain: the true story of the Great Train Robbery may never be fully uncovered. The Banco Central burglary, the perfect crime? 2005. It all started in early 2005 when a group of criminals devised a plan so bold it seemed like something out of a Hollywood movie. Their target? The Banco Central in Fortaleza, Brazil, a high-security facility holding millions of Brazilian reais in untraceable, non-sequential banknotes. But these thieves weren't going to walk in with guns blazing. Instead, they took a more patient, more calculated approach. They rented a property in the heart of the city, just a short distance from the bank. Under the cover of a fake landscaping business, they spent months digging a tunnel that would lead them directly into the bank's underground vault. The tunnel was an engineering marvel. It stretched 78 meters, 256 feet, underground, reinforced with wood and plastic, and even had its own lighting and ventilation system. For 3 months, the team worked tirelessly, removing an estimated 4,000 tons of earth, right under the noses of the authorities. Finally, in early August 2005, the tunnel reached its destination, the floor of the bank's vault. During the weekend of August 6th to 7th, when the bank was closed, the criminals made their move. They entered through the tunnel, carefully removing a section of reinforced concrete before slipping inside undetected. Once inside, they executed their plan flawlessly. They bypassed the bank's alarms, security cameras, and guards, never triggering a single alert. And then they went straight for the cash. Over 160 million reais, equivalent to nearly $70 million at the time, was packed into bags and transported back through the tunnel. By the time the bank reopened on Monday morning, the money was long gone. The only clue left behind? a gaping hole in the vault floor and an empty space where millions once sat. When the crime was discovered, Brazilian authorities were stunned. How had a group of thieves pulled off such an elaborate heist without a single alarm sounding? The scale of the operation suggested professionals, and investigators quickly realized this was no ordinary bank robbery. This was something far more sophisticated. Slowly, a list of suspects began to emerge. Police arrested several individuals linked to the tunnel operation, including Antonio Josevan Alves dos Reis, nicknamed the Mastermind. But despite multiple arrests, the majority of the stolen money was never recovered. And here's where things take an even stranger turn. Some of the suspects met violent and mysterious fates. One suspect, said to have hidden part of the money, was kidnapped and executed. A police officer involved in the investigation was also murdered under suspicious circumstances. Was the stolen money cursed? Or was someone eliminating loose ends? To this day, the Banco Central burglary remains one of the largest and most sophisticated heists in history. Authorities have recovered only a fraction of the stolen money, and some of the masterminds have never been caught. Did they escape with their millions? Or did they meet a far darker fate? One thing is certain, the mystery of the Banco Central burglary still haunts investigators to this day. What do you think happened to the stolen fortune? Let us know in the comments. The vanishing of the Amber Room, a lost treasure shrouded in mystery. The story of the Amber Room begins in the early 18th century, in the Kingdom of Prussia. Designed by German Baroque sculptor Andreas Schluter and crafted by Danish amber artisan Gottfried Wolfram, this breathtaking chamber was originally constructed in 1701 for Prussian King Frederick I. The room was a marvel, panels of pure amber, inlaid with gold leaf, gemstones, and intricate mosaics, covering nearly 180 square feet of space. It exuded an almost otherworldly glow, captivating all who gazed upon it. But in 1716, Prussia gifted the Amber Room to Tsar Peter the Great of Russia as a diplomatic gesture. The room was carefully transported to Russia, where it was installed in the Catherine Palace of Tsarskoye Selo, near St. Petersburg. Over the years, Russian craftsmen expanded and enhanced its beauty, turning it into a symbol of imperial wealth and power. In June 1941, Adolf Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, a full-scale invasion of the Soviet Union. As German forces stormed through Russian territories, they plundered countless treasures. Among their targets was the fabled Amber Room. Knowing the Nazis were coming, Russian curators tried to dismantle and hide the Amber Room. But the brittle amber began crumbling, and with no time left, they desperately covered it with wallpaper, hoping to disguise it from the looters. It was a futile effort. Nazi soldiers quickly uncovered the hidden masterpiece and dismantled it piece by piece. Within 36 hours, the entire room was packed into crates and shipped to Königsberg Castle, in present-day Kaliningrad, Germany. There, it was put on display in the museum of the city's Nazi-appointed governor, Erich Koch. Then, in 1945, as the tides of war shifted and the Soviet Red Army advanced on Königsberg, the Amber Room disappeared. What happened next remains one of history's greatest mysteries. As Soviet forces bombarded Königsberg, massive fires engulfed the city. Some believe that the Amber Room was destroyed in the flames, reduced to ashes, but others claim it was secretly evacuated before the city fell. One theory suggests that Nazi officials hid the Amber Room in a secret underground bunker, possibly in the vast network of tunnels beneath Königsberg. Some believe it was loaded onto a German submarine, which then sank in the Baltic Sea. Others point to abandoned mineshafts, forgotten Nazi bunkers, or even hidden chambers beneath castles in Poland and Germany. Over the decades, treasure hunters, historians, and even intelligence agencies have scoured these locations. Yet no definitive trace of the Amber Room has ever been found. Adding to the mystery is a dark legend that the Amber Room is cursed. Several people who claimed to have knowledge of its whereabouts met untimely deaths. Wilhelm Rittmeister, a German officer who allegedly helped transport the Amber Room, died in a suspicious car crash. Soviet investigator Anatoly Bogdanov, who was close to uncovering its location, was poisoned. And museum curator Alfred Rohde, the last known person to oversee the Amber Room in Königsberg, mysteriously died of typhus, but some believe he was silenced. Is the Amber Room protected by a deadly curse? Or is it simply a coincidence that so many who sought it met their end? To this day, the Amber Room remains one of the world's greatest lost treasures. Some believe it was reduced to dust in the fires of World War II. Others insist it was hidden, waiting to be rediscovered. Occasional sightings of amber panels or fragments only deepen the mystery. In 2003, Russian craftsmen, using historical photographs and descriptions, recreated the Amber Room in the Catherine Palace. But the original masterpiece, the true Amber Room, has never been found. Will it ever resurface? Or is it lost forever, hidden in the depths of history? And there you have it, 5 of the most mysterious thefts in history. Some of these cases remain unsolved, with millions in lost treasure still out there, waiting to be discovered. Were these just well-executed crimes? Or is there something more sinister at play? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another thrilling mystery. Until next time, stay curious.